This is the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. It is a big boy. I've been using this tablet for around about 2 weeks now. So this is my initial thoughts, feelings and impressions on this mammoth tablet. If you enjoy tech and you want to learn how to get the most out of your products, then please consider subscribing. I know you already know how to do it. And consider giving this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it as well. When I first took this tablet out of its box, amongst the excitement, my initial impressions were it's not that big. I think because I watched a whole load of videos and I watched the unveiling, I just assumed it was going to be massive. So when I actually got it out the box and held it in my hand, I was pleasantly surprised. Even though it's 14.6 inches, I kind of expected it to be a lot bigger. I also expected it to be heavier and thicker. I could not believe how ridiculously thin this thing is. It is insane. It actually felt like a toy when I first took it out of the box, because it just doesn't feel like this should be real. It's almost science fiction. Something with a screen size this big and a battery that's 11,200 milliamp hours shouldn't be this thin and light. It doesn't seem to make sense. Sort of breaks the rules of physics is the best way to describe it. The second thing that you notice after turning the thing on is the screen. Now, we've come to expect beautiful, sexy displays from Samsung. That's just what Samsung do, and this is no exception. I was a little bit concerned when I first pre-ordered it, and then I noticed afterwards the max brightness was 400 nits. Did kind of feel a bit heavy in the stomach when I first realised that. I had concerns of whether it's going to be bright enough, whether I'm going to be able to see it outside in daylight, or even just bright lights indoors. But honestly, I don't know whether that's a typo on the website or it's just some kind of wizardry here, because this display is beautiful in any conditions. And I've used it for things like gaming, reading websites, and the obvious, watching YouTube videos. Of course, with this notch, which I don't even know if I don't know if this will classify as a notch. Given the size of it compared to the screen, it's more of a bump. It's definitely a bump rather than a notch. But regardless, like all over it, the tablet is obviously designed to go this way. Even though it is designed to be used in landscape mode, it's not to say it can't be used in portrait. Now, sitting on a train, a plane or a bus, using a tablet this size and reading a book is going to look a bit ridiculous. But sitting at home, because it is light and it is comfortable and thin to hold, I have no issues scrolling through emails, reading websites, using it in portrait. But one of the things I do use tablets for is reading ebooks. And when I loaded Kindle up on this, I shut it down and uninstalled it in a matter of seconds, because that did feel too big. Websites don't seem as bad, they're not as jarring, probably because of the mix of images and text and the way the text is laid out, but I definitely wouldn't be reading ebooks on this. That said though, for all the people who say it is too big in portrait, this thing is essentially a little bit bigger than an A4 piece of paper, which is one of my favourite things about it. I've used it a lot with the S Pen to take notes and to mark up PDFs, and it feels natural on this. Now, I've used S Pens on other devices like the Note and the Tab S7 Plus, and I've used the Apple Pencil on the iPad Pro and iPad Mini. This feels most natural. When I was marking up a PDF, it actually felt like it was designed for that, designed with that in mind. It was almost like A4 paper on a clipboard, and it was just, you're not losing anything, you're not sacrificing anything, and at no point did I feel like I had to move the PDF around to write comfortably. Another one of my favourite things to do with the Tab S8 Ultra is split screen mode. Now yeah, pretty much any Android device does it, iPads do it as well. But on here, because of that screen size, splitting it in half felt more like having two screens rather than one screen split down the middle. Using two apps side by side genuinely feels like it's meant to be. They are like two full-sized iPad minis next to each other, and you can do anything you need to without struggling, without justifying it. When I mention split screen as a feature of Android, people are always like, the screens are too small to have two apps side by side, why would you want to do that? To me, it's something I use a lot, but I do understand where people are coming from. But on this, you're not losing any of the quality of the apps. You've got two huge, full quality screens side by side next to each other, and it just feels natural. And to be able to drag and drop things across from one side to the other side is just fantastic. And of course, you can even use three apps. I haven't actually got a case or anything to put the tablet in yet at this stage, and the reason for that is because I've got the keyboard case coming, and I know once that arrives, I'm not going to use another case, so I don't want to waste any money on something I'm not going to use further down the line. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you do want to see more information on the keyboard case, because I will be reviewing that once it finally arrives. But due to the lack of case, I've not took the tablet away, I've not put it in a bag and took it to work. It stayed in the house entirely, and that's just a fear factor for me. This is a big, expensive device. I don't want to just chuck it in a bag unprotected. And because of how thin and light it is, it feels precious to me, so I do just use it on the sofa, in bed, and maybe on the kitchen side whilst doing the dishes and the washing up. So I'm not gonna lie, I am nervous about this, and I did actually take insurance out on this, which is a rarity for me. I never take insurance out on products. I know I should, but I don't. Sorry. If you have any questions about the Tab S8 Ultra, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be glad to answer them in an upcoming video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you really soon.